10 years. Wasted.
Everyone wants success, but not just success, fast success. We live in a world that constantly tells us that if something takes too long, it must be wrong. Start a business quickly, make money quickly, master a skill quickly. And if your life does not move as fast as everyone else's, you start to feel like something is wrong with you. But what if the years that look slow from the outside are actually building something powerful on the inside? What if the time you think you are losing is the time that is quietly shaping the person you are becoming? Tonight, I want to tell you a story about a man who looked completely lost for nearly 10 years. Until one day, the very things people mocked about him became the reason for his success. In a small coastal town known for its markets and fishermen, there lived a young man named Adrian. Adrian was 26 years old. He was kind, he was intelligent, and he worked harder than most people his age. But Adrian had one problem. He never seemed to stay in one place for long. While his friends were building stable careers and starting families, Adrian kept changing direction. One year, he worked in a small cafe near the harbor. He learned how to speak with customers, how to manage money, how to stay calm during busy hours. Then he left. After that, he worked with a traveling merchant who sold handmade goods in different towns. For almost a year, Adrian helped carry supplies, negotiate prices, and set up stalls in markets. Then he left again. Next, he worked in a warehouse organizing shipments. He stayed there for several months. Then he left. Each time he moved on, people in the town began whispering, "Adrian is talented, but he cannot commit. He keeps starting things and quitting." Even Adrian's own family started to worry. His older sister once told him during dinner, "You're almost 30. Everyone else has figured their life out. When will you finally choose something and stay with it?" Adrian didn't know how to answer, because the truth was, he was asking himself the exact same question. Every night, he would walk along the quiet harbor and watch the waves moving slowly under the moonlight. And he would think, "What is wrong with me? Why does everyone else seem to know what they are doing? Why do I always feel like I'm searching for something I cannot see yet?" When Adrian turned 29, he found himself working in a small leather workshop on the edge of town. The workshop belonged to an old craftsman named Raphael. Raphael had been making leather bags for more than 40 years. The shop smelled of warm leather and polished wood. Every shelf was filled with handmade satchels, travel bags, and wallets. Each piece looked simple, but when you touched them, you could feel the craftsmanship. Adrian was hired to do simple work, cut leather, organize tools, clean the shop. At first, he thought he would stay only a few months, but something about the workshop felt different. The work required patience, precision, attention. You could not rush leather. If you cut the material too quickly, you ruined it. If you stitched carelessly, the bag would break. For the first time in years, Adrian found himself slowing down. Day after day, he watched Raphael work. The old craftsman moved slowly, almost peacefully. One afternoon, Adrian finally asked Raphael, "How did you become so good at this?" The old man smiled but did not stop stitching. 30 years of mistakes," he said calmly. Adrian laughed, but Raphael shook his head. "No, I am serious. Skill grows quietly. Most people quit before the quiet years are finished." That sentence stayed in Adrian's mind. Months passed, then a year. Adrian began learning more. How to choose leather, how to measure patterns, how to stitch strong seams by hand. But something strange happened. The more Adrian learned, the more people in town continued to judge him. They said, "So Adrian is making bags now. Another job he will probably leave soon." One evening, Adrian heard two men in the market talking about him. "Poor guy," one said, "almost 30 and still wandering." Adrian walked home that night feeling heavy. For a moment, he wondered if they were right. Maybe he really was just someone who could not stay committed. The next morning, Raphael noticed the change in his mood. "You look troubled," the old craftsman said. Adrian sighed. "I feel like I wasted my 20s, he admitted. "I tried so many things, but I never became truly good at any of them." Raphael placed a leather bag on the table. "Let me ask you something," he said. "Where did you learn to talk so confidently with customers?" "The cafe," Adrian replied. "And where did you learn to negotiate prices in the market?" "The traveling merchant." "And where did you learn organization and logistics?" "The warehouse job." Raphael leaned forward slightly. "And now you are learning leather craft." Adrian nodded slowly. Raphael smiled. "You think you were wandering, but I think you were collecting tools." Adrian looked confused. Raphael continued. "A craftsman who only knows how to stitch leather can make a bag, but a craftsman who understands customers, trade, and business can build something much bigger." For the first time, Adrian felt a quiet shift inside his mind. Maybe his past wasn't wasted. Maybe it was preparation. 2 months later, something unexpected happened. A wealthy traveler arrived in town. He owned a chain of luxury stores in the capital. He visited Raphael's workshop looking for unique handmade products. He examined the bags carefully. "They are beautiful," he said, "but I need something special. I need a leather travel bag designed for modern travelers. It must be durable, it must be elegant, and it must appeal to customers from many countries." Raphael listened quietly. Then he turned toward Adrian. "Why don't you design it?" he said. Adrian froze. "Me? Yes," Raphael said calmly. "You understand travelers, you understand markets, and now you understand leather." For 3 weeks, Adrian worked day and night. He remembered how travelers carried heavy luggage. He remembered how merchants packed goods efficiently. He remembered how customers reacted to products. Slowly, a design began to take shape. A leather bag that was elegant but practical. Strong but lightweight. Simple but beautiful. When the traveler returned, Adrian presented the bag. The man studied it carefully. Then he smiled. "This," he said quietly, "is exactly what I have been searching for." Within a year, Adrian's design was being sold in stores across several cities. Orders began arriving from different countries. People praised the craftsmanship, but they also praised something else. The bag was not just beautiful, it was thoughtfully designed for real life. And that was because Adrian had lived the experiences that shaped it. Years later, a young man came to Adrian's workshop. He looked frustrated. "I don't know what I'm doing with my life," the young man said. "I keep trying different things. Everyone says I am wasting time." Adrian smiled gently. He recognized that feeling. "Let me tell you a secret," Adrian said. "Life rarely moves in straight lines. Sometimes the years that look messy are the years that are building your future." He picked up one of his leather bags and placed it on the table. "This bag exists because I worked in a cafe, because I traveled with merchants, because I organized warehouses, and because I learned leather craft. All those pieces eventually connected." He looked at the young man and said softly, "You are not lost. You are becoming." So, if you are listening to this story today, and you feel like you are behind in life, remember this. The world only sees the moment when success becomes visible, but the real work happens long before that. In quiet rooms, in uncertain years, in the seasons when you are still learning who you are. Every skill you learn, every experience you collect, every mistake you survive, they are not wasted. They are shaping the person you are becoming. Work on yourself quietly. Keep learning, keep building. And one day when the pieces finally connect, the world will see what you were becoming all along. If this story spoke to you today, take a moment and reflect. Sometimes the person who looks lost today is simply walking a path that others cannot see yet, and that path might lead exactly where they were meant to go.